Now let's continue with the second component of our formula. We spoke about the customer centricity. Let's now speak about the design-led. The first step of customer centricity will lead to the second one, which is design. Almost every leading organization in the world will harness from this kind of design thinking. It's also behind some of the most fantastic design in the world, including the mouse that you have in your hand or even your mobile phone. What does it mean to be a design-led company? The main difference is the mindset. The design-led process starts with the customer, not the product or service, because it will require product team to help you to step back from their idealized product and go back to step one, understanding what the customer wants to solve, what their issues, what their pain. And instead of pushing our product to the customer design, it will affect the customer desires and expectations. A significant feature of being a design-led is focusing on the customer at the starting point, not the product. For instance, an important pain point for the customer in most countries is what they need to do when someone passes or when they want to change their name. It's an issue for them. The thought is horrifying enough for individuals to want to avoid doing it. How would the design-led experience can change this process? The design-led experience would meet customer where they are. So we understand them more from the customer centricity we mentioned, and now they're taking this into the next step. To understand the persona of the types of individual who frequently change their names, they will try to understand what communication tools they will prefer. Then we work backward to build a product integrated with those tools and needs. They will create a mobile feature if the customer will be comfortable more with the mobile website. And also, they might be comfortable more with the interactive chat function, so we can build our solution on WhatsApp. Either they will be build a bot to interact with the customer and answer their questions if they have a chatbot in interest. That said, it doesn't mean that they only make a solution for one customer channel. They must build for all customer channels. You know your personas, and then you build the solutions based upon this. This is the second component, and which will lead us to the third one. Now we're going for next slide, which will be 26. User experience will be more efficient and essential if you are successful in step 1 and 2. Because the design doesn't just end there. The next step from the illustration above will figure out that your customer user journey will be the main point. To understand this kind of journey, we need to know the behavior of the customer and what are the scenarios and situations they are suffering every day. You need to ask yourself also, what is your ideal user experience of the product that they have right now? And then, can we build, can we alterate, or can we disrupt this kind of service? Either we have a current number of steps for the customer they confront on every service. And if they have documentation they need to submit, what kind of documents they need to upload and how many times. Then you review that entire process, the whole journey, and then you redesign it again to minimize those kind of friction points as much as you can. This starts with the questions like, in all the channels the user would use, what would the ideal flow of the user experience? Can we minimize those kind of number of steps and make it easier for them? And they have to take any reduction of the touching point they have, because that will be very crucial for the customer. Moreover, we can ask how we can minimize the number of the documents that will be required to upload it more than once, or we can even remove it from the system. We can ask ourselves as well how we can keep them engaged. Can the customer be engaged even within the process? Can we have the end goal of the process to make them happy and satisfied, or no? This will be the ultimate goal. Actually, when the customer walk away feeling they have never experienced something like this, that will be the real expectations we need to fulfill, because this kind of impression, this will be of the touching point that will make the spark of the success of the digital transformation. That's why we need not only to fulfill the expectations, but also to exceed them. And by exceeding the expectations, the benchmark of yourself will be yourself. That's why you can see that the benchmark of the time, be in tech firms or luxurious goods providers, that will be very crucial for you, because expectations of the customer will be different from time to time and from industry to industry. And you need to know this to be able to fulfill it more. Let's discuss more now a case study from New South Wales. They have a very interesting experience about the customer-centric approach with the governmental organization. Actually, they started to have something different, which is a Minister for Customer Service. And they aim to become one of the most customer-centric most world government sector by 2030. The customer-centric government means they are placing citizen, the customer, in the center of the decision-making. NUSW will use customer feedback to understand better, anticipate their needs, and believe better in the service they are providing. But let's go a little bit deeper and check how they're going to achieve this one. Because it's easy to say that you are a customer-centric government, but sometimes it's hard to achieve it. So let's go for this current scenario. Actually, the current service delivery landscape can be very challenging for customers as the government service because they tend to operate in silos. Most of the time, you have different entities, different organizations, or even different departments where they are working differently and separately. But in NSW, they aim to use this kind of government website to consolidate the online content from across the government and make it easy for customers to find what they need through a single platform. It's kind of a success. Also, for the new SW government program, they focuses on the customer-centric phases, like the user research, design, testing, and reviewing, and even iterating. They realized that there are specific tools it requires to become a customer-centric government. It's not easy. Those tools include easy-to-access service, acting with empathy, respecting customers, time explaining what to expect, resolving the situations, and engaging the community. All those tools can be summarized in the customer framework they are introducing by NSW. Again, the government role now, they try to make a framework, a benchmark for other governments, for other entities, to make sure that they are keen about the customer centricity and how the service will be disrupted through this work. Now let's understand more the customer framework that NSW are using to achieve this kind of customer strategy. The framework is very simple and straightforward, but it's also very focused, and that's why. It's co-designed with the customers and the employees inside the organization, inside the government. They have the 5 critical areas which will be described in their website to give it. First, they start to understand the customer needs based on the data and insights. No assumptions here. They try to rely on the real data, where they're collecting those data from the customer, and then they take it into consideration. Second will be how to make prioritized based on what creates the most impact for the customer. What is the most essential point for them? What issues, scenarios, or even conflict they have, and how the government can solve those in a very seamless way. The third one will be deliver a seamless and high quality experience to customer. What are the expectations and how we can even increase the bar for the customer? How the high quality experience can be achieved inside this. So they are working closely to increase the bar of the quality of the service they provide. Number 4, engage with the customer meaningfully on the priority of the future. What's coming ahead? What will be the future challenges the customer will have? And how they engage the customer with them. This is one of the main parts of the framework they are using in NSW. Also, they embed a customer service culture across the public service, which is actually, it's a very smart point from them because, again, disruption or even digital technology, it's very crucial. But without the right culture, you cannot do anything actually. culture will be the aspect that can interrupt everything. That's why they are embedded this kind of culture. But after they finish those and we discussed this kind of framework, we need to understand what are the indicators they are using to measure that success. How we can make sure that those kind of digital disruption, this kind of customer-centric approaches will help us. We need to settle a KPI. We need to know what are indicators we need to measure. So the NSW government, they plan to effectively measure indicators through several methods, like they need to have a customer experience surveys, data and sentiment analytics, well-being statistics from official government sources and community and even the panels. So that's why they are making sure that what's effort is put in there, what's done there will be a very success for everyone inside the community and governmental services.